Welcome back, Ramley, to another episode of the First and Tuna podcast. I'm your host, Tuna. Today's episode is all about the Rams and Cowboys joint practice, where we have the liberty of reporting from on the sideline. Again, we're going to go through some team injury updates, that Matthew Stafford update that came this morning, and some of the cool stuff I saw at that practice yesterday. Right after this, royalty-free music. Hey, welcome. We're back. We are days away from having real Rams football, real lads and pads in SoFi Stadium this weekend against the Cowboys. We just were at the Rams-Cowboys joint practice. We want to go through some of the key things that we saw, as well as videos from fans that were there of some of the highlights, an injury report amongst the whole team, as well as, like I said, we'll dive into the Matthew Stafford saga that's happening right now. But first, if you have not already, we've got all our socials at the screen at the bottom. I won't waste a lot of your time talking about it, but follow Substack. That's where our writing is, and then all the socials, it's where we have general shenanigans. And thanks, everybody, for subscribing and following ahead of the season. It's going to be fun. First things first, we have to talk about QB1. He was in attendance at the practice, obviously did not suit up, did not participate. That was not news. The news, though, from this morning in Rappaport, clarifying sources, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is dealing with an aggravated disc and has received an epidural to help him deal with it. Los Angeles has called him week to week, being cautious, but with plans for him to be ready by week 1. Oh, rap sheet. So, despite this being breaking news, like an actual update on, what is the severity of the injury without us having to guess and pick through McVay's words, still not super clear because it still sets some people in a panic. I think it needs to be clarified that Matthew Stafford has had the epidural previously. It wasn't like it just happened this morning, and it's not an epidural of like he's not having a pregnancy. It's isolated. It's in that one particular area, so probably not the same. It's not like we saw him walking, so clearly it's not like he's paralyzed from the bottom down or anything like I've seen some people say. But yeah, still not the greatest thing in the world. One thing that should be good news for Rams fans, Jordan Rodriguez did ask McVay after practice yesterday if this was similar to a disc issue he had a few years ago. The answer was no. This was not a re-aggravation. This is something different. This is something that he is particularly accustomed to. Like, it's relatively newer, but it's not from the past, which is good. Emphasis still on him being ready for week 1. I talked a few days ago about even if he's not Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm doubling down, I'm tripling down on what I said before, that the Rams can play championship football with Jimmy at the helm. He looked really good yesterday. It's so hard for me not to look at this man on the field, as handsome as he is, and have negative thoughts for the Rams' season potential. He looked really good. And we'll dive a little bit more into that after we get through the rest of these little updates. But yeah, that's Matthew Stafford week by week, should be ready by week 1 per reports. Some other injuries to the team. None of these seem to be severe outside of the Alaric Jackson one. He's still going to be week by week. They're not giving a timetable at all. I'm just saying week by week as they monitor his blood clot recovery situation. As of practice, I think Saturday, they said everything's still on track. So hopefully he can get in for week 1. Other guys, Cam Curl, we saw him roll his ankle a little bit in last week's practice. He didn't participate. Nate Landman had a little bit of a calf issue from last week. He did not participate. Terrence Ferguson, also I believe a little bit of a calf issue, did not participate either. Forbes Jr. had his hamstring tweak last week. Obviously was not out there. And then the only new one was Kevin Dotson. We haven't seen a report yet as of this recording this morning. But yeah, he left practice more than halfway through near the end of that joint practice. Looked like he was having his arm or shoulder looked at. It did not come up in the press conference, so I don't believe it to be severe. But outside of Kevin Dotson, the Rams were able to come away clean without any new injuries to the team, which is important, especially at quarterback, wide receiver. You want everybody healthy heading into preseason, where we're going to get a chance to see a lot of the 2s and 3s, guys pushing for some of those last roster spots on the Rams. On the performance of your Los Angeles Rams and how they looked, and if you're watching here on YouTube, if you're seeing clips of highlights, make sure you follow at Rams Every Day, All Day on Instagram. This guy's phenomenal, up-to-date stuff. There's a lot of really good Instagram accounts out there that aggregate all this stuff. This one's definitely one of my favorites. Shout out to Rams every day, all day for letting us use these clips. By God, is Davante Adams the man? Like, he is otherworldly. I'm considering taking him high first round in my fantasy podcast league, which we will talk about soon. But he's just open. The last time I seen him have to make a contested catch was like early in week 2 of training camp last week. Every time, like every highlight, he's wide open by 4 or 5 yards. It's not even close. And it was like that all day. There wasn't just 1 or 2 plays. It was every single play that he was targeted, he's wide open. He's such a dangerous threat that it's going to elevate the other wide receivers. Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua and the whole tight end group. They're going to get single, like the looks that they want because of Davante Adams. If what we've seen in camp, and if what we saw at the joint practice holds consistency, which I have zero belief to think otherwise, man, them talking about Davante 2K, I see why they're saying it. I don't think he'll actually have 2,000 yards, but jeez, he's just wide open all the time. Delivering him the ball, a lot of props to the offensive line. They held their own. They looked really good. You're missing your starting left tackle. You're working in Coleman Shelton, new at center this year, returning to the Rams. There's enough there even without Micah Parsons on the Cowboys where, yeah, you can see some inconsistencies on the offensive line. It looked really good. Now, I already know what you're going to say. I've heard it in the comments on some of my posts. Yeah, but they're not hitting the quarterbacks. I understand that. You can still, with a good football eye, see what the pocket looks like. They are still calling whistles. If defenders get close and it looks like a simulated sack, they're going to blow the play dead. They weren't doing that for the Rams. Every time we looked at a deep pass, a play action pass where there was a longer concept developing for Jimmy Garoppolo to throw, he had a clean pocket. Very rarely did we see him actually have any sort of like real pressure on these deep routes. And he's not just hitting Davante. He had a deep out to Tutu Atwell early. Looked really good. He had a deep bomb touchdown off a play action to Tutu Atwell as well later in practice. And it was golden, like clean pocket. His plays to Puka Nacua, one of his worst throws that I saw was a deep out to Puka. Missed him, but it was outside throw. It's a safe throw. Still a good decision that you want to see from your backup quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo. When it comes down to the red zone offense, we're sticking with the pass game so far. They were throwing flurries, haymakers at the Cowboys. Obviously, yeah, you're trying to run your best plays to see how to get your guys open in a simulated red zone, but you're playing against a starting defense. They still have to stop you. Back-to-back plays that I saw early on. A quick strike to Davante Adams in the back of the end zone. Toe tap, Tay. Wonderful. The very next play, he throws back of the end zone to Puka, touchdown. When I went back and looked at it, if you slow it down, that's a no-look pass. He's staring down the corner towards the back pylon, throwing over the middle to Puka Nacua. This man's been taking notes from Matthew Stafford. When I tell you I felt a certain way about Jimmy watching that play, I'm being honest with you. Felt good. The red zone threat looked really good. Looked a little bit different. There was a lot of variety. You mix it in the screens, the run game. Everything's based off, is it a handoff, is it not? It put the Dallas Cowboys in such a predicament yesterday because though the threat of Kyron Williams is real too. The newly contracted, extended running back, man, it's worth every penny. He's running hard. The offensive line is powerful. Counter that with play fake, Puka Nacua screen backside. That's such a bad position to put a defense in. Or, hey, go lock up one-on-one Davante Adams. Oh, and we haven't even seen the tight ends yet. Red zone package, it was really, really exciting to see. That was my favorite part of the day. It just felt like the entire offense was clicking. It felt like everyone knows where they're supposed to be. The operation's clean. And again, this is without Matthew Stafford. Like, I get it. We're concerned about him not practicing in his health. But I'm never going to be one to say I know more football than you watching this. But as someone who's been around enough football and analyzes the fuck out of this game, they look damn good with Jimmy at the helm, man. Like, he's playing top ball. And if you need to revisit that conversation about Jimmy, my hot take, the quick note, is I think the Rams can win a championship even if Jimmy has to play. So I'm a little biased right now, but he did look really, really good. As far as the run game, like I said, Kyren Williams showed every ounce of him being worth that extension. Him talking after practice was really heartwarming. Like it definitely got a few people with some tears in their eyes. Him just talking about his faith in God, his faith in himself, and his loyalty to the Rams organization. We can sit here and I've done it too, looking at, hey, how much is this guy worth based on his performances? We forget the person behind the contract. And you have to feel really good about someone as good as Kyren, as good as a human as Kyren, has done everything right and showed up to camp, didn't hold out, didn't hold in, and gets rewarded for what he's worth, man. Bravo on both sides, Kyren's camp and the Rams organization getting that done. He was a St. Louis Rams fan as a kid. Now the team shows him loyalty, and he's rewarded for it. He had a nice run. He had a break-free, untouched touchdown early in the day. His highlight, though, was a pancake block on one of those Puka Nacua touchdowns in the red zone. Free linebacker, picks him up out of the air, pancakes him in the dirt at Jimmy's feet. That play was the epitome of how the offense's day went. Is picture perfect. Yeah, overall, like I said, offensive line looked powerful. They're removing bodies. Kyren looked the best. Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter both showed strengths that they bring to the backfield. Blake Corum has incredible lateral quickness and control. He's reading the run lanes really well, too. And it looks like they're developing some screen game for him specifically. So it's going to be really exciting to see how they use Corum in certain packages. Jarquez Hunter, I think him being regulated more to the twos, not wanting to take away too many carries from Kyren Williams and probably Corum at this point. If he's your third option, that is insanely exciting. I hope that they use him heavily in the preseason just so we can watch him on the field. He runs through the hole at 100 miles an hour. Where Kyren and Blake have a little bit more control, a little bit more patience, Hunter is chomping at the bit. His first carry that I saw between the tackles, he's sprinting so fast, he gets tripped up. If he doesn't get tripped up, it's just him and a safety. The next person that was going to be close to touching it was 20 yards down the field. And I'm taking Hunter in that fight. That guy, I swear, at one point, preseason, regular season, he's going to have a long game. He's going to have an 80-yard touchdown at some point. Red zone, watching him fight through arm tackles, unless you're a defensive lineman, you're not taking him down by yourself. Really exciting to see from the offense. All in all, I got to give the offense an A from the day. It was very, very exciting. Like I said, every time we look up, Devontae Adams is open, and I hope that's the case come regular season. And even if Jimmy has to play, this offense is clicking, and it looks good. Let's talk about the defense. Let's get the boo birds out of the way. A lot of people I'm seeing online, like Reddit and Twitter, talking about the defense looked bad in the secondary. They were okay. Definitely some fine-tuning is needed. They were not great by any means. But I want to counter that point, not making an excuse for them, but look at who they're going against. Dak Prescott is, at his peak, a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's been doing this for a while. He's smart. They have an elite duo at wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Regardless of how you feel about George Pickens' situation in Pittsburgh and how he was used, use the eye test. That's a man out there. Dude is huge. CeeDee Lamb is elite at getting open. It's going to be really hard to contain that guy every play. George Pickens is athletic as hell and strong. Even when he was covered, he's able to toughen through certain catches. There was one play in particular. Kobe Durant is perfect coverage. George Pickens runs a curl. Kobe's there. He's got his hand in George Pickens' arm's way as the ball's getting there. George Pickens still made the catch. He's just that strong. You can only do so much about that regardless of who's covering him. As the day went on, though, especially in the red zone, the Rams secondary did get a little bit better. There's that play where Quentin Lake is disrupting a pass from George Pickens in the back of the end zone. It was not a touchdown. Thank you. I think it was Rams tapes for getting that clip and posting it everywhere. Not a touchdown, George Pickens. But one thing you cannot say about this secondary or this defense at all is that they're soft. It felt physical out there. I know we talked about the powerful O-line and the D-line, but even the secondary, man. Cam Kinchins on 2 occasions, he blew up a wide receiver that caught a screen pass, and then he broke up another pass, hitting the receiver right as the ball got there. We knew he was a thumper, but seeing his timing and recognition improve with the starters is really, really encouraging. This defense feels physical. Like they are confident as hell despite what they may need to improve coverage-wise. You had Darius Williams. He has a few PBUs. He almost had an interception that he jumped. Quentin Lake almost had another interception. He dropped 2 dropped INTs. You got to have those. For a defense that is as aggressive as they are up front and trying to be as opportunistic as they can be on the back end, you can't lose opportunities like that. That might be your only one of the game. That's my biggest critique. My other critique is it's really hard to gauge what the starting group looks like when you're missing guys. You got Lake sitting at deep safety rather than star a little bit more because Cam Curl's out. You got Spates and Reeder in there a little bit more because of Landman's injury. So all in all, the passing game on the back end might be a little bit more what we expect, opportunistic. When it comes to the front, though, whoo, boy, these lads, as advertised. There was a play that I couldn't find online from people recording, but Byron Young stood up a running back in the whole one play, and it was, it's like, that's a man picking up another man. Jared Verse, there's a play circulating of him beating 2 guys inside. He beats the tight end and the tackle inside as the Cowboys are running at him, and still makes a tackle in the backfield, tackle for loss. All day, the Cowboys could not run. I know they have a running back competition going on right now for who's going to start in that backfield. The Rams defense didn't allow them to make headway. It was messy, it was ugly, and it was very easy for the linebackers to fill where they're supposed to be. I think the name of the game for the Rams defense, based on what I saw, is going to be a lot of just chaos in the trenches. Create as much violence up front. Linebackers' job is just going to be as smart as possible. I think that's why they went the route they did in free agency and in the draft. Like, we just want guys as smart as possible, be in the right place, and the plays will take care of themselves. Because what you're going to get from Jared Verse and Byron Young and the rest of that line, it's not insane to say Jared Verse is going to fight for Defensive Player of the Year. He's definitely got the mindset for it. Whether that happens, we got to see what happens in the season. But yeah, that defensive line is the real deal. And the Dallas Cowboys don't have the worst line in the NFL. It's still a starting defensive or offensive line, and yeah, they were just absolutely annihilating them. Kind of recapping the whole defense, I expect the secondary to be a lot stronger than people are giving them credit for so far. Before preseason, there's not going to be one standout guy like at cornerback. I don't think so. I think it's going to be kind of cornerback by committee on a week-by-week basis of who the best matchups are and who the hot hand is at that point too. But Quentin Lake definitely was the best guy in the secondary. He's constantly in the right place. Even when there's a catch by the opponent, he's right there for a quick tackle to limit yards after the catch. And then I'm not even going to pick one guy on the defensive line. Just that whole defensive line was good. Tuna Ford's addition is immediately being felt. Put that man on ice. I don't want to see him till week 1. I don't want any injury happen to him. Same with Devontae Adams. Put him on ice. Adams is my star of the show. He is the MVP of training camp, of this joint practice, of the world ahead of the season. Like, I've never seen a wide receiver get so open so often. And I just spent the day watching CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens as well. It was different. It's a different level right now. So, yeah, that's all I really got for you guys. Hopefully 20 minutes was quick enough to get a recap in for you. The next time you'll see us is going to be after the preseason game. I'm not going to sit here and make a 10-minute video breaking down the preseason. I'd rather just talk about it afterwards. Maybe we'll go live during the game and just chat it with some of you guys. And that's all I got. Subscribe to the stuff, and I'll see you guys later.